Welcome to the third episode of my Nurturing Educational Policy video series. We left off of part 2 with the question of whether it is reasonable to expect our school system to nurture not only the children, but the teachers, principals, support staff, and district officials as well. Even though nurturing children is not the central purpose of our schools, the fact that adults in schools take responsibility for children invokes that moral duty. Appropriate educational policy is the key to making sure our system of schooling meets the basic obligation to nurture all the children in their care. Consider a parallel example. If you're a surgeon and you need to perform surgery, then killing germs with sterilization as part of antiseptic protocols is not your central purpose. But it is a basic obligation of your hospital, with guidance from the policies of our healthcare system, to ensure that the equipment and the surgical theater itself are sterile before surgery is performed. And you, the surgeon, as a matter of professional integrity, must conform to antiseptic protocols. What I'm saying is that education today is in the same situation as medicine was in the 1800s, before antiseptic protocols were general practice and before germ theory was accepted as the explanation for why those protocols were effective. So, in the case of education, if you are a teacher and you need to teach children academic skills, then nurturing them is not your central purpose. But it is a basic obligation of your school, with guidance from the policies of our education system, to ensure that the children experience adequate nurturing such that they are motivationally ready before instruction is delivered. And you, the teacher, as a matter of professional integrity, must conform to nurturing protocols. That, in a nutshell, is the new direction of my website, teachkidsattitudefirst.com. Nurturing means ensuring basic needs are met as a matter of course. Today, at district, state, and federal levels, educational policy attempts to academically enrich children's lives without first meeting their basic psychological needs. Therefore, we currently have a school system that forces adults responsible for nurturing children to sacrifice that duty for instructional bookkeeping. This is wrong. It's like being a surgeon in the Civil War era when they did not sterilize anything first. It works sometimes, but it's also gambling with people's lives. You might not be familiar with the surgical practices from the Civil War era, so here's a pertinent quote from an article in the International Journal of Infection Control. Quote, "Figures collected in 1874 from all the great centers of civilization for amputations in the largest hospitals by surgeons of consummate skill showed a 30 to 50% death rate after major amputations. In fact, it was safer to be operated on at home than in hospital." End quote. Another account of infection in the 19th century gives base rates ranging from 40 to 80%. For comparison, current rates of all hospital infections are about 7%. And if you would like to check my sources, there are links on my website below the video. In the 1800s, due to the predominant belief in the miasma theory, which asserted that bad smells cause disease, surgeons would be more concerned about whether the windows were open or closed than whether they had washed the blood of the last patient off of their hands. That was wrong. And I included the bit about surgery being safer at home because today, in education, we may have a similar situation. In the United States, over 2 million children are homeschooled, and they are claimed to be more reliably educated, as measured by standard methods, than their traditionally schooled peers. The situation in education today is like the situation of surgery in the late 1800s. The mental models that guide institutional policies are inadequate to the task, and when it's done at home, the results may be better than at most institutions. I will discuss that mental model in more detail in my education reform video. So, providing instruction to children who are not autonomously motivated to learn what is being taught needs to become just as unthinkable as performing surgery without the benefit of antiseptic protocols. In the final episode of this series, I will discuss compulsory schooling policies and finally answer the question of whether or not it is reasonable to expect schools to nurture everyone in the system.